Hi, Coach Joe Lukacs, and welcome to the Magellan Network Show. For nearly 30 years, I've been focused on helping advisors become the best both personally and professionally. This show is dedicated to sharing with you tools, tips, strategies, distinctions, things that are working now. I'd love for you to take a moment, and if you're watching this on YouTube, click the like button and also the subscribe button so you get automatic updates. And if you happen to be listening to us on a podcast, make sure you're subscribed to the podcast and you leave a positive review for us. Now, with that said, let's get to today's episode. Hi, it's your Coach Joe Lukacs, and welcome to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Our first episode of the new year 2022. Hope all of you had a great, safe holiday with friends, family, and you're ready to go in our new year. This will be part one of a two-part, kind of think of it like a mini masterclass on how to go ahead and make 2022 your best year ever. And for a lot of you, at least, when I look at my client base, I would say a vast majority had record years in terms of top line, record years in terms of new money, new assets coming in, and just, a lot of great things happening. But that was last year. So let's start off our conversation, start off our mini masterclass by talking about how to mentally frame a transition from an old year to a new year, because you have to do that. A lot of times advisors come in, what I have found in just talking to my personal clients for many decades is like, first thing, how am I going to top last year, right? And some of you may be thinking that, like, oh my gosh, I had a record year. How am I going to top it? Step one, make a declaration to yourself that you're going to top it. So don't go into, man, I hope I do this, or I'll see how things work out. No, we are always going to be growing. Remember, human beings are happiest when we're going after something, when we're going after a goal. And like I always talk about, if we're going to climb the mountain, make sure it's a worthwhile mountain. So step one, declare to yourself, even if you had a record year last year, that 2022 will be bigger, better, bolder, brighter. Number two, if 2021 was not a great year for you, for whatever reason, look, it happens, right? Maybe you had some illness in the family, a lot of that going around these days. You got distracted, maybe you just had some personal things go on, and it was an okay year. Put that away, it's over. You now have 100% of 2022 to move forward on. One of my mentors early in my career, Tony Robbins, always had this very famous saying: the past does not equal the future. Your past does not equal your future. And we can look at that really in both ways, right? Which is, hey, if you had an excellent past, it does not guarantee an excellent future. And if you had a quote-unquote crappy past, doesn't mean that you'll have a crappy future. We decide. So the first thing you need to do is shut the door mentally, emotionally, and economically on last year. It's done. Cannot go back, cannot change it. It's in the books, okay? So that's number one. Second piece, if you're going to have a great 2022, you cannot come into 2022 exhausted. Put an extra two in there, I think. You can't go into this new season, new year, mentally, emotionally, and physically exhausted. So the first thing, if you're watching this and listening to this the first week of January, and you're like, my gosh, I need a vacation from the holidays, then take a couple of down days. You may not need a whole week. Maybe you just need a couple of days of what I like to call strategic and renewal. In fact, first week of January, the week of the 3rd here in 2022, I am on what we like to call inside the Magellan Network a strategic/renewal week. Well, what does that mean? I really don't have any client responsibilities. I'm going to be working on finishing up my strategic plan for the next 10 years. And quite frankly, I'm taking care of me because the holidays are stressful, right? So I'm fasting, I'm working out, I'm sleeping a little bit, I'm taking some naps. I'm just getting mentally, emotionally, physically ready to launch on the 10th, which is my first coaching day of the new year. So if you're gassed already in the first week of January, do yourself a big favor, which I know seems counterintuitive because you want to get after it, because you're motivated, you're inspired, you've got the January effect happening. We'll talk about that at some point. But bottom line is this: it's not sustainable. So take a couple days, chill, rejuvenate, and then come back at it. Okay? That's the first thing. Number two, what are you seeking to accomplish this year? And please don't get into what I call more and better mode. Well, I want to do more. I want to do more top line, more gross. I want to get more money in the door. I want to do more premium, more core. That's not a goal. Or I want to get better. I want to be better in the mornings. I want to be better inside of, I want to be better with my fitness. I want to be better with my nutrition. Again, nebulous. Now, I would love for you, quite frankly, I would encourage you to come check out our planning process that we have. There'll be a link here. My team will put it in. fabizplan.com, fabizplan.com. But if that's just not your jam, I respect that. Have at least a one-page list of goals. Make them specific, right? Make them measurable. And the one thing we always like to do inside of goal setting, and again, top line, revenue, assets, production, premium, whatever, is have a high number that scares the crap out of you and a number that's more reasonable. We call it banding or ranging. There's so many variables in our business. To have a singular number as a goal is a terrible idea. Okay, so that's number one, energy. Number two, a plan. Number three, you want to get out. So again, assuming you're rested, assuming you're ready to go, assuming everything's all set to go, you want to get out of the gate strong in January. I like to prime the pump. So what I mean by that is January is going to be all about contacts. You're going to reach out to all your clients, all your prospects, all your COIs, people on your newsletter list, people that you're connected to on LinkedIn, and you're just going to wish them a happy 2022. If they're a client, you're going to see about if they have any new financial goals, any new issues, any concerns, any projects. You're going to take their temperature on that. You're also going to remind them that you're here as a resource for friends, family, colleagues, and coworkers. And then for everybody else, COIs and prospects and all the other family, right, that you have, again, you're here as a resource. You're here to serve. And you always roll out the red carpet and you extend that an invitation. Why? Because every study that I've ever seen about consumer or human behavior states that the month of January is the only month, listen to this, the only month that the average human being is motivated/inspired for self-improvement. This is when most of the gym memberships are sold, diet programs happen. Again, what we talk about all the time, health and wealth, right? Now, we're not going to deal with the health side, but we're going to deal with the wealth side. So make sure you put yourself out there and make yourself out. This is the only month we really sail with the wind in our game. So you want to take advantage of that. All right, next. We want to make sure that you start your mornings in a certain way. So we have a code here, if you will, a protocol of a morning success ritual. We call it our Magellan Morning 8. I know a podcast episode that we talked about the morning 8. You can go find it in our archives. But you want to make sure you control the morning. You control your morning. And whether it's the first 20 minutes of the morning, the first 30 minutes of the morning, first 60 minutes of the morning, whatever you've got, it's got to be your time to meet with you to keep your game moving forward. Okay? And again, I know some of you have small children, you have challenges. Look, there's always ways that I found in my career. I've yet never been able to help an advisor create their own morning success ritual, whether you've got triplets at home or you've got all this other craziness going on. There's always a way to get it done. So if you can control the first 20, 30, 60 minutes of the day, you're going to have a much better chance of controlling the entire day. And you all have done this, where you've gotten up early, you've had it, whether you went to the gym or you meditated or you read a book or you prayed or whatever you did. By and large, those days go a lot better, a lot more proactive, a lot more in control than when you're getting up late, you already feel like you're rushed, you already feel like you're behind the 8 ball, and you're just trying to survive the day. If you're trying to survive the day, chances are you're not going to have a great day. And you've got to remember this. Every day is like a game. It's like a match, right? Whatever you want to call it. And if you're going to have 200 of them this year, whatever the amount of tactical business days that you're going to have inside of your 2022 calendar, you want to make every one of them count. You want to focus on winning today, whatever that means to you. If you're leading a $1 billion team, winning is going to have one set of rules. If you're just starting out in the industry, it's going to have a different set of deliverables. But you better know what they are, right? Better know. So make sure that we have that. The other thing I would say is commit. Commit to putting your health and your physical fitness and energy first. And I'm serious about this. Some of you, and look, one of the major changes that I made this planning cycle was that I have one personal goal. That's it. My health. I turned 57. I'm not 27 anymore. The age gods have spoken, and they've let me know that, hey, you've got to raise the standard on what you do. I'm taking that to heart. And I'm 100%, 150% committed to making massive changes in my health and my fitness and what I do. There's an old saying, and so true here. It doesn't matter how much money you have. It doesn't matter how successful you are economically. If you don't have your health, what do you have? And unfortunately, I'm faced with one or two of my very dear clients I've had for many, many years who are facing probably some of the most severe health crises that a human being can go through. And these are very successful economic individuals. And if you ask them today, and I have, they would go back and say it's all about health, right? So make sure, and I know it's very cliche-ish, it's January, of course everybody's going to go to the gym, of course everybody's going to go on a diet, of course. So most human beings. 90% of that's out the window by February 1st. So it's not enough to just, commit for a week or two. Is you have to understand that the higher up the mountain you want to climb, and again, we're talking just economics, which is what everybody measures in this space, I understand that. That the higher up the mountain you climb, the more difficult to climb. Now, the more difficult to climb, but the more expertise you have because you've been practicing the climb for your entire career. So yes, the cliffs are sheer, but so are your skills. As long as you have your health and energy and you're vibrant. If you don't, you're not going to have the physical, mental, or emotional energy to continue to climb up. And what does that look like in our space? Man, if I can just do what I did last year, if I can just maintain what I've got. And let me say this to those two statements. In my experiences, those are the two most dangerous experiences an advisor can utter out of their mouth. Man, if I can just do what I did last year, if I can just maintain what I'm doing. Because what you're signaling to yourself subconsciously is you are in good enough mode. And good enough mode will erode progress over time. Now, why do I say that? Because we're all going to have clients that pass away, clients that leave us, right? We talk about attrition, right? I have attrition, you have attrition. You also have something called RMDs. So not only do you have attrition, clients leaving, passing away, so on and so forth, but then you're leaking out, some of my clients are leaking, 3, 4, 5% of their portfolios every year. Now we recapture some of that, obviously, but you're still leaking it. And, when you have a very strong market, and I just want to remind everybody of this, I see it all the time. A lot of you set records for, our money line, we're running, $250 million, $500 million, $1 billion, $3 billion. I have a couple that run, in the billions. That's like a sugar high. Because how much of that was market? How much is that new money? See, I've always felt that you've got to grow. You've got to organically grow your assets, fee-based assets. Organically grow 5% a year just to kind of break even on RMDs and loss of clients. Minimum 5 points, right? Now, if you want to grow, man, you got to think 10, 15. So if you're running $100 million, You got to bring in 5 at minimum, probably 15 is the number, minimum, to really get a growth game going. So don't get caught up in, I hear it all the time, oh man, we're running $350 million. I said, I don't care about that. How much money did we bring in this year? Well, we brought in like $5 million. I said, it's a terrible job. Terrible job. So remember, if you're an entrepreneur, which all of you are, if you're a business owner, which all of you are, Peter Drucker said this, every business has only 2 core functions. Marketing, which is growth, and innovation, doing it better. Period. Marketing and innovation. Marketing and innovation. So how are you going to up your marketing game, your business development game this year in 2022? How are you going to innovate? Client service, how you do things, right? How you get more value to your relationships. All those things matter. So please don't get in good enough mode because of a great 2021. Just don't. Challenge yourself. And if you're in a leadership position, challenge your teams to really go ahead and build something and continue to build. And I know some of you are saying it, and I want to cover some stuff in part 2, which we'll do later on. Even if economically you have no wants, so in other words, you live below your means, you can retire today, that kind of jam, right? I'm telling you right now, if you don't have a compelling reason to grow, and maybe it's charitable, maybe you need to do some charitable stuff, right? Maybe you need to start your own foundation. I've got probably 7 or 8 clients now that have their own foundations because that's what drives them. So if you're not getting up every morning being inspired in what you're doing, you need to relook at how you're doing it and why you're doing it, or if you should be here. Here's what I found. I think there's a certain percentage of people in this game, advisors, are here because they need a JOB. They're not qualified to do anything else, quite frankly. And they're just kind of here getting through the day, right? Kind of getting through the day, getting through the day, getting through the day, getting through the day. And I guess that's okay, if that's what you want. I mean, you make 6 figures doing that, probably low 6s. Nothing wrong with that. In fact, this industry, probably a vast majority of advisors in this industry, that's their mode of operation. It's unfortunate because there's so much more. And I would encourage you to seek out what that more means to you, right? So, if it's economics for charitable gifting or helping family members, remember, money's just a resource. Or money to put back in your business, right? Maybe you need to hire a junior person. Maybe it would really be nice to go get that social media virtual assistant to help you inside your game. All that requires capital, right? So just keep that in mind. So I just want to kind of wrap up part 1 here. Again, next episode we're going to do part 2. And we're talking a lot more about marketing, branding, business development inside that conversation. But 2 things. I'd encourage you to do 2 things. Number 1, make sure you have your goals in writing for 2022. Again, we have a powerful multi-step process. They'll give you not just your 2022 game plan, but your 10-year game plan on top of that. That's number 1. Second thing I'd encourage you to do is come spend a couple of weeks with me, or maybe a month, inside of Magellan Network. It's free, MagellanNetwork.net. There'll be a link for that too. And, let me help you get off to a great start. If you're fit, we'd love to talk to you about a permanent seat. But if it's not a good fit, it's not going to cost you anything. There's no failure here. There's no harm, no foul. So I encourage you to do that too. Okay? And I want to wish each and every one of you a happy new year, happy 2022. And if there's anything I can do for anybody, a topic you want me to cover, a question you want me to ask, and again, I always eat my own cooking here. Always consider me, whether or not you and I ever have a professional relationship or any kind of a situation like that, and we're just going to be kind of YouTube buddies or podcast friends or on LinkedIn, please always consider me a resource. I'm here to help. Contribution is one of my highest human needs. I love contributing to people. I love contributing to advisors. So, thank you for watching. Thank you for listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Thank you for watching or listening to this episode of the Magellan Network Show. Hey, if any of this resonated with you, I invite you to come to MagellanNetwork.net and we have a powerful group coaching community of like-minded advisors. Come in for a trial. You and I will have a one-on-one conversation. Let's see if I can help elevate your game both personally and professionally.